everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of Red, Right, and True. And we are so excited. It's actually yesterday was our 1 year anniversary where I took my phone and we did this at my kitchen table. And now we are at the America First Warehouse, the best American venue that you could imagine. If you could see this place, it's like MAGA for Disneyland. Did I say that right or did I mix it up backwards?
You did fine. It was wonderful.
So I want to introduce my co-host, Joe Curry. He's been on so many things.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. And Bonnie's going to explain a little bit about the show and what we do. Bonnie, take the floor.
And the other co-host is Patriot Box.
Yes.
Who,
Hello, everyone.
Yes, he is a big part of the show.
Not
and
Mike Box, but Patriot Box. And Patriot Box, I believe, stands for freedom. Also, the way sometimes us in voting with the president feel boxed in, especially lately, the way we have come under fire over facts that being grossly presented, and sometimes you feel in a box. But as patriots, we need to fight, and we need to fight from the box, we need to fight out of that box, and we need to fight for our country.
And you notice he matches our logo, so there's that too.
Well, ironic.
Well, thank you, Bonnie, also known as Captain Obvious.
Yes.
Yes, I am the captain of the obvious.
Yeah.
So this is our first episode, and we have an amazing first guest who we're going to tell the story of how we met. He is formerly of the Spin Doctors. He's one of the best bass players in the world, and his name is Mark White. So let's welcome Mark White from Texas. Is that correct, Mark?
That's right, Texas.
Texas. Now, you used to live in New York, or am I wrong about that?
No, I was born in New York. So
So-
I was there until 2001. 2000. I came to Texas.
And you decided to leave New York for any particular reason, or?
Because I do. I wanted a house, but I was not going to live in a house without a gun. And you can't live in a house and a gun in New York City, so I came to Texas.
Nice, nice. Now, we wanted to talk about why you are no longer in the Spin Doctors, because that is a very big issue of, believe it or not, it ties in with this whole administration and people having, freedom of their own bodies, and there's people are so strong about being against, abortion. But they were forcing, well, I'll let you tell it, Mark. Go ahead.
Well, I refused to take the COVID shot. And you needed to do, in order for you to do all the stuff that you had to do, you had to have the shot. And I refused to take it because I already had COVID before anybody even knew what it was. I had already had it. So when I got it, I didn't know what it was. And then afterwards, we figured out what it was. And everybody was like, okay. So, Mark, you need to get the COVID shot if you want to stay in the band and if you want to do stuff. So I said, listen, I'm not going to be the dude that's going to show up at a place and it's like, do you have your papers? And I'm going to get into a fight. So I told those guys, why don't we just get somebody else to play the bass until this whole thing blows off, which is Jack Daly, a great bass player. But, they decided afterwards that I wasn't coming back in the band. And it's more than the COVID shot. Also, because I'm a conservative. So those guys were all liberals, and I'm a conservative, which I didn't even know it until Trump showed up. Remember, before Trump showed up, everybody was normal.
Absolutely.
And then afterwards, everybody got TDS, and they still have it. So that's the main reason I think I got kicked out of the band. Mostly is because of, it's not just because I didn't get the shot.
It was a combination of, they used that as the excuse
Right.
to get rid of you.
So Mark,
Right.
basically, a lot of people in most of the people in the Spin Doctors they're not conservative, or they're very
liberal.
They're
liberal.
all
They're very liberal.
liberals.
Because I play in a band.
Left can be.
I play in a band too, and I'm a keyboard player. Also, my longtime buddies, Anthony Cumia from Opie and Anthony, was my lead singer. His brother Joe, bass player. We're very conservative as well. Also, the band I play in, band Fragile Sky, all of us are conservative. One of the prerequisites when you were joining, because we had band members come in, you had to be conservative. You had to be of conservative mind. So it's very important, especially in a band environment, that you're all on the same page in a sense.
Yes, I think that's true. And listen, I was a quiet conservative. They're liberal. They had a lot of problems with Trump and blah 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 blah. I mean, I would get in the van and they would just go off about whatever, and I would just be quiet because it's just me by myself. So, but the strange thing is, I've always been a conservative from like when I was 10. I just didn't call myself a conservative. And most of my friends were like that. Like anybody I got along with was like, they were conservatives. And for me, a liberal was like an asshole because they would just do things that didn't make, oops, I curse, but they would do things that didn't make sense. So when I got in the band, when I started playing music, I started to realize that the musicians were mostly liberals. But I didn't think of them as liberals. I just thought of them as hard to deal with because they were always right and never wrong. You could never compromise with them. You could never work things out. It was always their way or the highway. So like every band I was ever in, I would wind up quitting because I was working with people who you couldn't work with. You couldn't compromise with, because remember, the people on the left, you have to think of liberals and conservatives as not political, but more like a mindset.
Yes.
And the political part comes from it. So a liberal person right from the beginning they're not the type of people that you can relate to. I mean, you can't reason with them. You can't come to a compromise. You can't work anything out. And so it's their way all the time. And that's the reason why, and I'm not a team player because I don't conform. That's the other thing too. I am not a team player. So if everybody else, I don't smoke pot, I don't drink, I don't carry on, I don't go to parties or anything like that. So if they're all doing that and I'm not doing that, I'm automatically not in the clique and I'm automatically not in the, in the club. I'm kicked out. So that was the other problem I was dealing with.
Mark,
But-
I'm sorry. Mark, you
Okay,
said
go ahead.
something that I really liked. This is Patriot Box. And you said you described yourself as a conservative from age 10, and you used the term quiet conservative. And I love that because there used to be the silent majority. I really think that expression, I'm a quiet conservative. And
Right.
I think that's great. Now, one of the things as you were saying that I realized is that I too have always been a conservative. And back then we didn't have terms like quiet conservative. I just called it being normal, but hey, that's me, a
Right.
man with a box on his head.
Right, you're being normal.
Yes,
But
I'm
now
completely
I'm
normal.
not a quiet conservative because now I realize the true horror of being a liberal is that you're just a bully. All you do is sit around and cause trouble for everybody else. Nobody else can just live out their life because you're protesting, complaining, throwing stuff at people, making life difficult. And I'm not a big, when I was a kid, I used to fight the bullies back because I figured, like, you know what, the reason why they're bullies is because nobody's fighting them. And even though I was a tiny little kid, I was able to still pick up a chair and throw it at you. So that's what I would do. And so I would fight these bullies back. And I view most of these liberals that I'm dealing with are just bullies, because how can you just show up and you're always right? Like, that makes no sense to me. Does it ever even cross your mind that you could possibly be wrong? No, it doesn't. They're 100% right all the time. And you cannot deal with people like this.
Oh, absolutely, where you're seeing true facts shown with the videos. And also an interesting thing, I've been playing for 45 years, and I believe you've been playing the same amount of time. I believe with the advent of social media, it has gotten worse because, I don't know about you, band practice in the late 70s and 80s, we would have argument. It was just sports because we really didn't espouse our political leanings. It wasn't espoused on a public forum, just at home. But, basically we would have argument, just, the Mets, the Cubs, the Yankee, the football, and that was about it, rehearsal.
No, it's more than arguments. I remember one of the ways that Mark White and I met. I didn't even know who he was. We met through. We used to watch this podcast together, and we would talk to each other in the comments. And then we became Facebook
yeah,
friends.
that's right.
Right, we became Facebook friends. And again, He didn't put who he was in, kind of like the Patriot Box. You didn't really know who he was, and we became friends because of our conservative. We were both conservatives. And just like the musicians, a lot of the comics are very liberal, and I was being bullied by a comic who came on my page, and everybody was my friend before I publicly on my Facebook page posted about Donald Trump. Then all of a sudden, all the people that were my friends had a problem with me, and I didn't really understand what was happening, honestly. And you would get on my Facebook page. There was a young comic that you guys would know who he is. I had a picture of a black police officer up there, and this guy said to me, "You don't give a F about that police officer," because he was killed. I was talking about all police officers. We have to, kind of like what's going on with ICE right now, to respect the police
Right.
officers. And he came at me, and Mark White came in the comments and was trying to reason with this guy. And as Mark was saying, they get in this mindset where they are in a rage. They're in a rage. And then we found out who he was, and then I had him on my podcast when I found out he was an entertainer, and we were in a debate, conservatives versus liberals. It was one of the funniest shows. I wish I could find it.
Is that one with Josh?
Yes, the one with Josh
And
Schaefer.
you know what's funny
and Jim
about
Raya.
Josh shows up. Josh shows up. He has all these papers
and we shut him down so bad.
for the debate. And I'm like, dude, you got to have all this. Like, don't you? What about this? You got to use this. What do you got all these papers for?
I remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday. And the funny part is, Josh is one of the nice liberals, honestly.
I know. I love Josh.
Right?
Josh is great.
So there are
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
liberals out there. They're you know, that have an opinion and will say it in a respectful way. So I'm not saying, you know, I wouldn't say all liberals, but a lot of the bullies, as you said so accurately, this
Right.
bully came on my Facebook page and called me a racist because I was a Trump supporter. And then, you know, I have to thank her now, because what happened was I realized I didn't know how social media worked. And on her page, she had all these people that would protect her and come and attack you. So I was like, you know what, 30 seconds, okay. I was going to make sure that I had protection. So I just started friend requesting anybody who looked like they were, you know, a Trump supporter, and I started growing
Right.
my base. And we are going to go to a commercial segment, so I just wanted everyone to know that you are watching Red, Right, and True. We are going to be here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and I hope you tune in every week and that you get your opinions. We'll figure out a way of how you can communicate with us. And that's about it. So we'll see you at the next commercial break.
Mark, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you noticed
Okay.
your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won, it's not about what party, it's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast.
I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve?
Fighting!
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
And welcome back to the first episode of Red, Right, and True. We are live with Mark White, formerly from the Spin Doctors, and we're going to let Mark continue with what he was talking about. And during the break, he actually just mentioned that he met Donald Trump, which I did not know anything about. So I would love to hear about that.
So, you know, Howard Stern had a big birthday party back in the 90s, and everybody showed up. There's a video of it. If you go on YouTube, you can see some of the videos. But during the party, Donald Trump showed up.
So obviously he wasn't the president yet.
No, he wasn't the president.
Okay.
And he was just, and remember, I love Donald Trump from the beginning because, you know, he's brash. I like people who are like, they don't take any crap. What you're seeing Donald Trump do is what he used to do all the time. He just called you out if he said something stupid.
He tells it like it is, and a lot of people don't understand that.
And that's just a New York thing too, which is great because that's how these new New Yorkers that you have, I don't know what's going on, but the old New Yorkers will call you out. You couldn't just say whatever you know. And he knows everybody else was just like the same way. But he shows up at the party, and everybody just stopped. Like he was, you know, the man. And the funny thing about this guy is like, you shook his hand, and he looked you right in the eye and said, like, he doesn't know me. He doesn't know what's going on. But he looked me right in the eye and just said hello. And I felt like he, you know, kind of connected with me a little bit. So I wish I had taken a picture with him, but, you know, back then people didn't have cameras.
It was before the cell phones.
Right.
But
there's no cell phones.
It's very
you
interesting.
You actually have to have your actual camera with you. Who carried around a camera with them, right? Like nobody did that.
Not back in the day.
Well,
Right.
unless you were Japanese, then you carried three of them.
Then you would carry three, just in
But there
case
is
you
a
ran out of
picture-
film.
There is a picture. There's a picture where he's shaking the hands of the dude from Aerosmith, who is all anti-Trump. But you should see the way he was looking at Trump in the picture. He was like, "Oh my God, it's Donald Trump! I can't believe it!" Because everybody was doing that. Because everybody loved Donald Trump before he ran the president. And let me tell you what happened. Hillary was supposed to be the first female president. And everybody believed it. Remember, 95% chance he was going to win. There was no chance.
They
Donald
laughed.
Trump could, they laughed. But he somehow won. And now that's the reason why we have TDS. Because they all thought, all these women, they all wanted this first female president, even though it should have been somebody else. I don't know why anybody would want her. But they wanted Hillary to become. And we've been in TDS since 2016.
Absolutely. In fact, I think it's worse now than ever.
And that's fascinating you
It's
say
10 times
that.
worse.
And that's fascinating you say that because basically it's from the PTSD that these radical women, liberal women have.
They're crazy.
Unfortunately, one got killed a couple of weeks ago. And her girlfriend goaded her on. And I don't think that they understood the ramifications of their actions.
Can I explain why? Because, you know, under the previous administration for 4 years, they were able to do anything that they wanted to, and there were no consequences. And even if they put you in jail for something, you would get right out. So they're not used to consequences for their actions, which again is
That's
something
exactly
that
right.
conservatives
Absolutely.
have. Conservatives are very aware of what you do has consequences, and we think before we do something, like, what are the outcomes? What could happen if I do this? And the liberal people, they just go on their feelings, and their feelings, unfortunately, are rage. And
That's exactly right.
And by the way,
So check this out. You have TikTok, for instance. You have that Liv's a TikTok person. All she did was take their videos that they had on TikTok, which was a little secret little world, and she just exposed it to the rest of us. So now we're looking at these TikTok people and like, people are actually thinking like this? And so now other people are seeing these TikTok women, mostly women, acting crazy and saying crazy stuff. And so now everybody gets mad at her. Why are you mad at her? She's taking your video, which you already posted, and she's just letting the rest of us see it. So we know that you're back crazy.
by the way, you do share a lot of those videos on your Facebook page, and
Every day.
I
Every day.
laugh my ass off watching them. And we have to say it what it is. They're mostly white women,
Right.
and mostly like
Pink and blue hair is optional, but
and usually pink or blue hair.
I was asked-
Absolutely.
And they got that thing in their nose, the
nose ring, yeah.
Mark brought up an outstanding point that never dawned on me. Never thought of this. They're being disenfranchised over the fact that Hillary lost to Trump in the first election, which is an amazing thing, and that speaks volumes of where we are now. With the situations that are going on, only in the cities that have no police protection for ICE, only in the cities where they seem to be covering something up, and only in the cities that the media thinks that it's gold and they're going to broadcast every night non-truths and their assumptions on the situation.
You know, I was asked by someone about that whole Good situation where she was shot by the police officer. She was driving a vehicle towards him, and person, was more of a moderate and said, "Hey, can you explain, what's your take on that?" And I said, it's actually quite simple. We have an expression: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And you know what? That sums it up, people.
But also an interesting thing, too, and I got in an argument with a couple of people about it, that say she was not protesting. She was on her way home from dropping her kid off at school. That's a heck of a left turn, okay? She inserted herself
They lie.
in there. They lie. She was an activist in there. She didn't realize the ramification of the situation not following instruction of an official, which a lot of people say, oh, ICE isn't. No, they are an official. They were in the middle of carrying out an official act, and they can arrest you if you are, they just can't go out and arrest, but they can arrest you if you are disturbing an official act that they're trying to do, which she was doing. And it's a shame that she got shot, but it's the simple fact that, and you're right, Bonnie, over years, the past administration and the disenfranchisement of these women, they think that, well, we got away with it 4 years ago and nobody's going to do anything. And there's no police there in Minnesota to stop them, in Minneapolis, to stop them and keep them at bay. It is so much on the Democratic Party in that area.
I mean, like I have seen on Instagram, I've seen pictures of these women screaming like this close into the ICE officers' faces. And, I look at them and I'd be like, I wouldn't have patience to deal with that. And they're doing this all day long. And I believe a lot of them are paid. I would like everyone's, you have the people that follow, of course, but there's paid protesters, and then that's why they all have the same looking sign. To me, this is the Black Lives Matter movement just reinvented again, and we're back where we started. It's the same. It's really the same thing. Mark, do you see any similarities between what happened then? The only difference is they are not overturning police cars and setting the police station on fire, because Trump was smart enough to bring in the ICE agents to control it.
Well,
go ahead, Mark.
This is what I believe. There should be a bus or two buses that follow these ICE agents, and every time people start protesting, and remember, they're not protesting, they're interfering. So let's not even call it protesting. As soon as you interfere, you get your little handcuffs, and they put you on the bus, and they take you downtown. And if they started arresting people right on the spot, and you got like a month or two, believe me, they would stop doing this. Because once again, the people on the left are the most dishonest people I have ever seen in my life. They are lying, dishonest people.
Well,
ICE has been around since 2003. All this time, people have been getting arrested. I personally know a person who got deported. There was a musician called, I think his name is Pogo. He was in America doing a tour. And under Obama, they came and got him and kicked him and sent him back to Australia because his visa wasn't whatever. Just out of the blue. And he got like a 10-year ban or something. I'm not sure about the details, but something like that. And so all this time, we've been having people getting deported, getting thrown out, blah, 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 blah. The only reason why people care now is because it's under Trump.
Yeah,
They don't. You see, the thing about a liberal is that they're dishonest. They don't actually care about any of this. The only thing they care about is they hate Trump. I asked a liberal one time. I asked him a question. He's a highly educated person. I went on his little Facebook page, and he has a degree in this, and he has a degree in that. Right? He has all this stuff. So I asked him a very simple question: what can Trump do that would make you happy? And you know what he said?
Nothing.
Resign. He said
Ooh.
resign.
Ooh.
So this is an educated person who can't even come up with one single policy, one single idea. His only recourse is to say, you know what? He should resign. And I said, why don't you ask me the same question about any Democratic? And I would tell you exactly what would make me happy.
Right.
But he wouldn't ask me, so we're no longer friends.
Even if Trump resigned, they would still be blaming him for years to come. Everything that's wrong in the world to a liberal is Donald Trump.
They hate him, and the reason why they hate him is because he ruined their little dream of having the first female president, not once, but twice. And the second one was a woman of color. So that makes people even more angry. Not only did he get rid of a woman, he got rid of a black. Well, I don't know if she's black. Remember he was saying, he's like, well, when I first met her, she was Indian, but now she's black. So I don't know is she Indian or is she black? Like, nobody knows. But he got rid of 2 women. And so this is the reason why you see all this. This TDS is going to the next level. And here's the other thing. I talked to somebody, and they said to me, that's such a horrible thing to say that people have TDS. I said, well, what else do you call it?
Oh, they definitely have it. And we are going to a commercial break in like 30 seconds. But Patriot Box, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
I was just going to add, when you have a Supreme Court justice who can't identify a woman, that just is ludicrous. And that's why when you consider Hillary as being the first woman, I don't know. I just get confused by all of that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mark, we're going to be going to break soon. Please stay with us. With this,
I will be here.
Absolutely enlightening and fascinating.
And I want to go on to Charlie Kirk after this because it continues our discussion of Trump derangement syndrome. So everybody stay tuned and we'll be back.
You've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA store.
The America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
And welcome back to Red, Right, and True, our very first episode with my co-host, Joe Curry,
Hello.
Patriot Box, and our amazing guest, Mark White. And I wanted to lead this segment we were talking about Trump derangement syndrome, and I wanted to talk about Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's when I really saw how low people can get, and how people that I know, things that they posted about a young man who was publicly murdered, executed. The things that people I know wrote have changed me and scarred me, even worse than I was before. I was used to being called a racist and everything else, but seeing their responses to this man's murder, who just wanted to peacefully talk to people and have a dialogue between, calling him a racist, saying horrible things about him after his death, then horrible things about his wife. It was disgusting. So who wants to start with that?
Well, with the whole thing on that, a lot of people are comparing that when Renee Good, Charlie Kirk, he got killed, and now people are saying stuff against Renee Good. Renee Good and Alex Peretti were not, was not resisting arrest.
They were trying to compare.
They were trying to compare. Charlie Kirk was not resisting arrest. He was making a peaceful speech. And it's just interesting. Now, I made a comment. I've done a podcast for 13 years. We parted company over a comment that I made. It was regards to a friend posted something in regards to Renee Good, and how she was an inspiration, how she was a great mother, how she was all these things. And then I posted everything that she did to get into this, and unfortunately lost her life. And I wrote Renee Good riddance. I caught a lot of flack from that on a show that I did, and I wanted to debate it with my partner on the show and my other co-host, and he glossed over it because he is in the middle of getting a production deal done on a certain project he's doing, and caught flack over things that I said. As a matter of fact, there's going to be animation in this project. The cartoonist got upset over something that I said. I was a minor character on this show. And I told him, I go, he works for you, he doesn't work for me. And I go, and if the cartoonist is upset with me, tell him he could draw a cliff and jump off of it. But it's people, affecting a livelihood off of a comment. I just made a comment on a page. I didn't post a meme, but it is, the hypocrisy. And I would not go out of my way, because I was so disgusted over how these people were posting about Charlie Kirk. I just made a stupid comment with facts listed. So it's very interesting where we've gotten, especially as entertainers, where they're holding your feet to the fire over freedom of speech.
Right. It's one rules for conservatives and a whole different set of rules for liberals. Liberals seem to be able to say whatever they want and go really, really despicable. And then if you make one little comment, then you're vilified. It's definitely. Michael, you have a saying for that? Oh, oops. Patriot Box, you have a saying for that?
Great job, Lois Lane.
I'm outing Patriot Box.
Well, now that I've been outed, actually, I'm going to go right to the controversial type of thing. When they take people like a George Floyd, a career criminal, and make him into a hero, have statues for him. I mean, look at what the man did in his life. He wasn't a good person, but they make him into a hero that he is not. They are trying to do the same thing with Ms. Good, and this is their mantra. And yet a guy like Charlie Kirk, who has a pretty long track record of doing some pretty fine work, he's a monster. He's a terrible person. So the real word here, and it was used before, hypocrisy. I'm a little tired of it. I mean, how many times do we have to have hypocrisy from the left and put up with it, and no one says anything? No one calls
there's
them
nothing
out
you
on
can do about it. somebody said to me once, because I was complaining about hypocrites in the music business, which they are an endless amount of them, and they said you can never point out hypocrisy to a hypocrite. It's impossible. They can't see it. Even though they're telling you not to do it and they're doing it, when you tell them that they're also doing it, they just look at you with this look of dismay on their face because they literally cannot see it. There's something wrong with them. And as far as Charlie Kirk is concerned, I wasn't even, like, I knew of him, but I wasn't really watching anything about him. But when I saw the responses on Twitter, I was just like, all right, liberals are true evil people.
Evil.
Like they reached a new low that is just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't even post everything on Facebook, but everything that I saw on Twitter was just outrageous. So I got a little more angry. I'm a lot more angry. If you go to my Facebook right now, you will notice that I'm a lot more angry than I used to be, because I actually am. And with so when you posted that thing on Twitter, no, not Twitter, what was it? Instagram. So like on Instagram, I keep that political free, but then you posted that thing on there and you exposed me as a MAGA.
It was a promo for this podcast.
And here's the thing.
Actually, I was kind of, I'm good. I'm happy with it. But the funny thing is, then I get the little comments. I thought you were much better than this. I had no idea that you were all these condescending. Why can't I have my own opinion? Why is your opinion better than mine?
Absolutely.
Why are you right and I'm wrong? Like, I don't understand that. That's the part I don't understand. What gives you, when I find out a person's a liberal, do you think I go on to pay? Oh, I can't believe you're a liberal. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. No, you're conservative. Or you left one cult for another. Go. It's always this condescending. They're standing on top of you, talking. I'm 63 years old. Who the hell's talking to me now?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I'm 63 years old. Who the hell's talking to me now? You better be 150 saying something to me.
Yeah.
I've already had a nice long life. I'm not listening to you anymore. But I still got these little kids on Instagram. Oh, I can't believe you're a MAGA. You should be doing. I can't believe you did. What is wrong with you? It makes no sense, because liberals are condescending, highly elitist losers who think they know everything.
They haven't.
That's all you're dealing with.
They haven't lived life. They haven't earned anything. They're sitting there on their parents' money. And
are you talking about the New York mayor, Mayor Mandani?
You could, and the people that are voting for him that are swimming in garbage and snow right now. But the thing about it is they don't have the experience. I dated somebody a couple of years that was way younger than me. But anyway, she was very political. She was a Democrat. She actually ran for the mayor of Binghamton. And I told her, I go, don't you understand that the Democratic Party could care less about immigrants? They are being brought in to build a new base, and they're using that to gerrymander sections to get them in that they could vote illegal. I go, they're building a future party. They don't care about them. And this woman was running for the mayor of Binghamton. She's very astute in politics, and told me that's not the case. It is so blatantly, and she was 28 at the time, so she still doesn't have an understanding on the way things work and the way politicians do things. And you see a lot of it now with these folks that have voted Mandani in, that are for these left-wing policies, that are going to realize that it's going to affect their future in the long run. And when they start to have a family, they start to own property, that realize that it's going to hit them in the purse, and that they should have wised up when they were a lot younger.
Listen, Mandani would have never won if Trump wasn't the president. The only reason he won is because they were sticking it to Trump. That's all that was. You think those New Yorkers are that stupid? They cannot be that stupid, but they've got TDS. So they're definitely not going to do anything. Everything that they're doing is anti-Trump. They were like, don't take Tylenol because, you're having a baby.
Yeah.
They're all taking Tylenol now.
Yeah, I mean, I was joking around on my Facebook page. Every so often, I'll have Trump saying, don't breathe oxygen, and then you have pictures of liberals putting bags over their head because he said not to breathe oxygen. I mean, they just, whatever he says, they have to argue with it. They have to act like it's the end of the world because he said it. And like you said, back in the day before he was president, everyone loved him. So what changed? What changed is that he has exposed, lifted up the cover, and showed you what's really happening. And he warned them that he would. He's like
and he beat that woman, that witch.
Yes.
The witch,
Oh,
witch
yes.
of the East.
Patriot Box especially hates that Hillary. He was.
You know
like,
what's funny? You know what's funny? That New York the Times magazine's like, "Welcome, Madam President," or whatever it was that remember that magazine that came out? That's how much they thought she was going to win.
Yeah.
But she didn't. Everything that you're seeing today that's coming from the left, that's crazy, that makes no sense, is because they're sticking it to Trump. And so they would rather burn the house down than to give him any sort of credit.
And meanwhile,
You understand? They're like kamikazes. I call them liberal kamikazes. They're willing to kill themselves just to get back at Trump. Everything that they're doing makes no sense. None of it makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is that they are so full of hate that they have to stick it to Trump. There's no way on earth Mondani would have won if Trump wasn't the president. There is no way.
Well, look,
But he won because Curtis Wheeler, I can't even pronounce his last name, but when they told him to
Curtis
drop
Sliwa.
out, I'm glad he didn't drop out. Thank God. He should have stayed right, because New York is going to get exactly what it deserves, because you can't go through life hating somebody to the point where you just ruin your life.
Absolutely. Now we're almost to a commercial break. When we come back, we're definitely going to continue this talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know Patriot Box is dying to say something. So
And I got to keep my wife quiet because she's making too much noise back there. I'm sorry.
we honestly don't hear her. So it's fine. It's fine. But we're going to be back with Mark White, and this is the Red, Right, and True podcast, and we will be here every Wednesday at 6 to 7
Eastern time.
Eastern time at the America First Warehouse, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. So, Joe, you could say, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay, stay tuned.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round 2. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring, the anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America
And go Patriot Box.
You know, I want everyone to remember we have been invaded by over 20 million illegals in this country. All right? This country has never been invaded like that. Let's remind people are now focusing on ICE. They're good people. Let's go buy them a margarita. Nonsense. This country was invaded. It has changed this country. And people at the top of the Democratic Party, Chuck Schumer, I have to throw up in my box a little bit here when I say his name, but Chuck Schumer, he said it. He said it. It's on record. He said, well, we want to give them a pathway to citizenship, which means we want to give them a pathway to vote. And that's what's going on. And let's not forget, we're being invaded, and the people now who are against ICE, for basically federal officers obeying the law, trying to get rid of illegals, you know what? Why don't we just call it what it is and say, you know what? I don't accept being invaded by 20 million illegals.
Can I add to that, Patriot Box?
Of course you can.
Not only are we being invaded, but they gave them free everything. They have free food. They have free Section 8 housing. They have free schooling. They get free medical aid. They get like a check. I know somebody who had a mother-in-law and somebody who was in the country illegally, and he said his mother worked her entire life, and his wife's illegal mom was getting a bigger check than the legal citizen. So it's not just an invasion; it's they're buying their vote for the future. As Patriot Box said, once they have the path to citizenship, because they have paid them. You know, they have allegiance to them, and they will vote Democrat. And that's because everybody else is abandoning that party, all races. They are all going to the common sense, which is Trump.
Yeah.
And they are losing their base, so they're bringing in a base instead of trying to have policies that would bring people to vote for them.
And then you mentioned it to, like I mentioned before, like with the woman I was dating, you mentioned it to them, somebody in politics that was canvassing for the Democratic Party, what is blatantly in front of her face. No, that's not the case. How could it not be the case? You can't, and it's a TDS thing. It's a blind leadership to a policy that's not working. And it's a shame. And also, when we're talking about TDS and how all these people are entrenched, which Mark mentioned that, what would it take to get rid of Trump for him to die? We have a problem as conservatives is that we have the midterms coming up. And the midterms are a very important thing. Trump himself is like, well, we might not make it through the midterms, but we have to try. And a lot of it is trying to show that the ICE is working. We need to show that the economy is coming back, which they're forecasting it is already going into quarter two. So it's something where we need, as conservatives, to adjust the narrative, change the narrative. We also need to take a more, at least give the impression that we are going to take a look at healthcare. These are kitchen table issues, basically the price of food, inflation. It is coming down, not enough, and the price of healthcare. So as conservatives, we need to write to our officials and say, look, we believe in ICE, we believe what's going on, but we need to start changing the narrative to gear up to the midterms. We don't have that long. We're in February now, it's in November. We got to do what we got to do.
But it's also as we get back to Mark's comment at the very beginning, it comes down to bullying. And when Charlie Kirk was murdered, I was really upset. I mean, I cried for days, and I was really angry and disgusted by the comments about Charlie Kirk. Did we riot? Did we loot? Did we attack police officers?
We
No.
didn't even have mostly peaceful protests.
Exactly.
We
Patriot
prayed.
Box.
We prayed.
And
we prayed for peace. We prayed for harmony, where you don't see, I mean, you try to pray, and meanwhile, Don Lemon comes in with his cameras and tries to interrupt that.
Can you imagine if they went into a mosque and did that?
They would never do that.
Why? Exactly. They would never go into a mosque. How dare they go into a church? A church is supposed to be a place where you are safe. In fact, in the Middle Ages, if you were escaping from someplace and you went into a church, you knew that they wouldn't come in there and come after you. But Don Lemon thinks he's, God or something, and he can do whatever he wants.
Don Lemon
and now
should
he's out
be
of jail
squeezed.
already.
He didn't even go into a black church, because that would have been just as bad as going into a mosque.
Exactly. It's just, it's such, it's very, the way we see the world
They're
and the way
bullies.
we react to the world and the way they see the world and the way they react to the world is completely different. And my last point is, you know, we could see the same exact speech. I remember when the very first time when Trump inauguration, and I thought the speech was amazing. It was like uplifting. And then you go to like CNN and you watch the other channels, and they're like, "Oh, he's Hitler. He's a monster." And I'm like, "Did we just watch the same speech?" Like literally at the same time, we're all in the same room. We're all listening to him, and I hear one thing, and they hear something completely different. So, like, what? It's like it really is a syndrome that they.
And if you ask them why he's Hitler, they won't even be able to answer you.
They never can answer that. They never
just
can
call
answer
you.
that.
I got called a racist. I'm a racist. People thought I was white at one point. Oh my God, you're black and you're MAGA. What the? And what is MAGA? What is that? Make America great again. How did that become a terrible thing?
Again,
That's
that's
what they just
something.
do. Oh my God, you're MAGA. Like that's like, oh my God, you're a Nazi. Are
You
you
know,
insane?
the left.
That makes no sense.
the
Make
left
America
has
great
been
again. Remember, they made that into something bad, the people on the left. You can't even walk down the street with a red hat on without getting attacked. If I put on a Kamala hat and walk all over the place, everybody's like, ah. But if I put on a Trump hat, everybody's, ah, they're going to try and kill you.
Absolutely.
You can't even have an American flag. I had an American flag on the back of my car. I was driving through Portland. And because I have an American flag in Texas, people are actually saying stuff to me.
It's crazy. Patriot Box, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, Mark said something that I've said all along. How is the idea of make America great? That's not anything, any American who cares about the country they live in. What's wrong with that? How has that been so bastardized into that's a racist thing? The concept, making America great. Wow. We've really hit an all-time low. Who wants, you know, it's
Yeah, that's
just
a bad thing.
ridiculous. And again,
And you know
when
what's funny?
you realize,
You know what's funny? If you go to other countries, they all doing the same thing we're doing. They're kicking people out. I have a friend who went to England. She was over there. She stayed past her visa, and they went after her and kicked her out.
Absolutely.
Here's the other thing too. I like to tell people, I can take a 747 jet and put it anywhere in the world, anywhere in any country, and put free visas to America on it, and it would be full of people.
Absolutely.
That's how bad
I'm gonna
people want to come
bring
in.
up something a
Any
little-
country, there's not a single country that you can mention that if I put that jet in there, it would not be full, unless there's less than 200 people in the country.
I'm going to mention something that was sort of horrible, but going back to when Joe Biden screwed up the Afghanistan withdrawal, you literally had people hanging on an airliner trying to get back to this country, and they
Right.
died. But again, that shows the ferocity and the desire of the people to get into this country, how important it is, and they know what it means to be here. And that's the lengths that they'll go to. And that's about all I'm going to say about that.
Even the celebrities who, you know, hate Trump and say, "Oh, if he wins, I'm going to leave the country." I think only 2 left: Ellen DeGeneres
And Rosie O'Donnell.
And Rosie wants to come
and they
back.
regret it. And they regret it. Believe me, they can't wait to come back.
Yep.
They're dying to come back. Nobody wants. Listen, I travel all over the world with the spin doctors. You know, we had a great time. Blah 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 blah. I got to see all these other countries. And some countries are fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. These are some fantastic countries, but this country is the best. That's it.
And you know what? If there are people in our country, you know, I know that they have the right to do it, but when I see young people who I think are either indoctrinated by the colleges or they don't understand burning an American flag, stepping on an American flag, I feel like my heart is being ripped out of my chest. That what happened to the youth? That, you know, like, or is it that the parents didn't raise them? Like, thank God my children don't believe that way, but I know a big group of the segment of society of the youth hates this country and thinks we're the bad guys, that we're colonizers.
They
Look
are
at the
victims-
Grammys.
they are
Look at the
vic-
Grammys and what just happened.
They are
I was
victims of the
disgusted.
legacy media narrative.
Speaking of
Simple
the
as that.
Grammys,
the legacy media has the narrative that they've been playing for 20 years. You know, some of it sticks, and you know what? Us, as far as conservatives, we haven't pushed them back as much as we should. And enough
Because
is
everyone's
enough.
afraid to speak up. It comes. Mark's not afraid. He's spoken up from the beginning. I kind of, teeter-totter. Sometimes I get afraid and I shut up for a little bit, but I keep coming back. And everybody has to speak out.
Right.
Silently, they did when they voted Trump in, the silent majority. But people are afraid to get attacked, like Mark said, and it's understandable because they are crazy and they will physically attack you.
Bonnie, I have a question
So
to
I
you.
think I think we have 1 minute.
We have
Bonnie?
1 minute left. I just want to preface. You're a phenomenal bass player. Big spin doctors. Are you gigging? You have any projects coming out?
No, I'm totally retired. I don't want to play in any bands. I don't want to do nothing. I'm perfectly happy staying home. I might make some little videos because it's just me, but I'm not a team player. Like I said in the beginning, for me to be in a band would just be a nightmare, especially at 63. Like, what would I even be doing? And I'm just, if I could find a band full of conservatives, maybe I would do it. But like right now,
That's very hard to find.
I'll keep you posted.
yeah.
And tell them about your art. You do some beautiful artwork.
Oh, I draw on my iPad, the same iPad I'm talking to you on right now. And every once in a while, I might sell something to somebody, but I just do it for fun. It's just something, because I used to be an artist and then I switched to the bass because I was always a terrible artist. So I switched to the bass. And I'm still a terrible artist, but every once in a while I get out a good piece coming up. For everything that you see me post, there's like 10 that didn't make it.
Wow.
Mark, where can we find? We're running out of. Where can we find you?
I don't want nobody to find me.
No, he's talking about social media.
Oh, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Mark White, you look it up, Spin Doctors or whatever. I mean, I still got Spin Doctors somewhere in there anyway.
Right. Thanks so much, Mark, for being with us. It was
You
great.
too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making our first episode a memorable
Oh, that's great.
one.
Yeah, I'm the first one. Yeah.
Good
Diversity,
night, everybody.
baby.
Good night.
We get some diversity.
A beacon for all to see, a symbol of hope, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse.